I still remember the first night it all began, and to this day, I can't believe where it led me. I was working maintenance at one of those fancy skyscraper hotels in downtown Chicago, the kind of place where a broken faucet costs more to fix than my whole month's rent. My name's Daniel Brooks. Folks just call me Dan. I'm a single dad raising my little girl Ellie the best I can, and that night, I thought all I had to worry about was tightening a leaky pipe in the executive bathroom. I had no clue that when the door burst open, my whole life would flip. She came stumbling in, this woman in a red dress, hair undone, eyes wide like a deer that just realized the forest was on fire. She clutched a tiny flash drive in her fist like it was life itself. "Please, don't let them find me," she whispered. And just like that, I heard heavy boots thundering down the hall. Instinct kicked in. I don't talk much about my past, but I used to fix jets for the Air Force. That training never really leaves you. I popped open a hidden service panel behind the mirror, shoved it wide, and hissed, "In here!" She slid in without a second thought just as three men in suits barged through the door. Their leader, a guy with a scar down his cheek, scanned me like I was a bug on his windshield. "You seen anyone come through here?" he asked. His tone wasn't really a question, it was a warning. I leaned on my wrench, wiped fake sweat from my brow, and muttered, "Just trying to fix this leak, buddy. Unless one of you knows how to stop a toilet from flooding, I'd appreciate it if you let me work." They searched every corner, cursed under their breath, then finally stormed out. I counted 30 Mississippis before I tapped on the mirror. She crawled out, legs shaking. And that was when she told me her name. Not that it mattered much to me at first, but apparently the entire city knew her. Madison Cole, CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, the kind you see plastered across billboards. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "What you just did, that might have saved Chicago." I laughed. I couldn't help it. But she wasn't smiling. She held up that flash drive and told me it contained proof the mayor and his deputy had been stealing millions from the city contracts, kickbacks, all of it. They called it the Cole Ledger, and now she said they'd kill her to keep it buried. Now here's the thing, you spend years working in the shadows, raising a kid by yourself, living paycheck to paycheck. You learn to keep your head down. Don't make noise, don't pick fights, just get through the day. But when Madison looked at me terrified yet still refusing to give up, I thought of Ellie. I thought about what kind of city she was going to grow up in, and I heard myself say something I didn't plan. "All right, let's get you out of here." So we ran. Not wild running, controlled quiet, the kind where every step feels like glass might shatter under your feet. I gave her a pair of spare coveralls from my bag, slapped a baseball cap on her, and told anyone who looked twice she was a new hire. We made it to the service elevator, but of course trouble found us. That scar-faced guy, Silas Kane, I'd learn later, spotted us. He didn't buy my just training the rookie routine. His hand slid inside his jacket, and I knew what that meant. "All staff movements are logged tonight," he growled. I shot back, "Yeah, then go log the flood on floor 32 before it ruins a few Gucci bags. Or do you want to explain that to the guests?" For a second I saw the wheels turning in his head, profit versus suspicion. Then his radio crackled, calling him elsewhere. He gave us a look that promised we weren't done, then stalked off. By the time we hit the freight elevator, Madison leaned against the wall, whispering, "Why are you helping me?" And I told her the truth. Because if nobody stands up, nothing changes. And I've got a daughter who deserves better. We ducked into alleys, slipped into a subway blended with late-night commuters. For a moment, it almost felt like we could disappear. But when Silas boarded the same train car, eyes sweeping the rows of passengers, I felt my chest tighten. Madison pressed against me, and I slipped an earbud into her ear. "Just act like we're together," I murmured. She leaned in, played along, and for a heartbeat, it almost felt real. Silas stared, then moved on. Still, I knew we were running out of time. We holed up in an old storage unit I kept for emergencies. Madison told me about board members who betrayed her, about allies she thought she could trust who sold her out. I wanted to tell her she wasn't alone, but then my phone rang. It was Silas. His voice was calm, too calm. "Nice disappearing act, Sergeant Brooks," he said. My stomach dropped. They knew my name. Sweet little Ellie. She's safe. For now. Trade us the girl and the drive and you can keep your quiet life. 1 hour. My blood went cold. Madison shoved the flash drive into my hands. Take it. Trade me. I won't let your daughter pay for my fight. That's when I realized this stranger who hours ago I thought was just another rich executive was willing to die for a kid she'd never met. And I couldn't let her. No, I said. They're bluffing. And if they touch her, they'll learn what I learned overseas about making problems disappear. I called in an old debt from a security chief I once covered for. He bought us time, but we needed a bigger plan. Madison had one name left. Gwen Ortiz, an investigative reporter. If we could get to her, we could blast the truth so wide nobody could stop it. We met Gwen in a crowded coffee shop at dawn. She already had cameras set up, live streams ready. Madison began spilling everything, names, dates, amounts, while Gwen broadcasted it across every platform she had. And of course, that's when the deputy mayor himself walked in, flanked by goons. "Miss Cole," he said, "smooth as poison. This is slander. Shut it down now." Madison didn't flinch. "Then sue me. In open court. Under oath." His smile cracked. I stepped between them, fire extinguisher in hand, and hissed, "You should leave while you can." Then I yanked the pin, sprayed the whole place white, and dragged Madison out the back while Gwen's phone kept streaming. By the time we hit the street, news vans were pulling up, FBI agents surrounding the deputy mayor. The truth was out. Madison stood there in the rain, holding that flash drive high, shouting to every camera, "The people of this city deserve better." And for once, power couldn't silence her. In the weeks that followed, half the government toppled. Madison rebuilt her company with new leaders who actually cared about ethics. Gwen won awards. Silas rotted behind bars. And me, I went back to fixing pipes and picking Ellie up from school. But Madison started visiting. Sometimes she'd bring coffee, sometimes just a smile. One night she showed up at our apartment with takeout and a box of crayons for Ellie. My daughter looked up at her and asked, "Dad, is she your friend?" And for the first time in years, I realized the answer was yes. Months later, we stood together on a rooftop looking out over a city that felt a little cleaner. She took my hand and said, "Complicated doesn't mean impossible." And I believed her. Now, I'm not here to tell you it was a fairy tale. Life's messier than that. We came from different worlds, and maybe we always will. But sometimes you don't get to choose the moment you stand up, you just get to choose whether you do. So I'll leave you with this. What would you have done in my shoes? Risk everything for a stranger with a secret, or play it safe and look the other way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you believe in standing up even when the cost is high. And if you've ever seen corruption, injustice, or someone being silenced, share it. Because stories only matter when they're told. I still remember the first night it all began, and to this day, I can't believe where it led me. I was working maintenance at one of those fancy skyscraper hotels in downtown Chicago, the kind of place where a broken faucet costs more to fix than my whole month's rent. My name's Daniel Brooks. Folks just call me Dan. I'm a single dad raising my little girl Ellie the best I can,